Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's moving and storage studio, it's the Ramsey Show, where we hang out to have a conversation about your life, about your money. I'm your host today. I'm Jade Warshaw, and I'm joined by Rachel Cruz. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, give us a call today. The number is 888-825-5225. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. We'll talk about what's going on in your money, your budget. Maybe you're looking for a new career. Maybe you're wondering if you can be a stay-at-home mom. Maybe you're wondering about this whole student loan debacle. Whatever it is, give us a call. We would love to hear from you. So let's go to Tanner in Bentonville, Arkansas. What's going on, Tanner?
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing well. So I'm just calling about trying to figure out how my wife and I should allocate our budget. Currently, we're investing about $1,000 a month into sinking funds. We bring home around $8,000 a month net, and just trying to figure out how if we want to pay off our house quickly, how we should go about doing that, and if we're allocating too much money into our sinking funds.
What are the sinking funds for, Tanner?
Mostly like travel, Christmas presents, kids expenses, some medical emergency, and like annual membership renewals.
Okay. And how much are you guys putting towards the house right now?
We're just paying the mortgage payment, so it's around $2,300 a month.
Okay. So nothing on top of that. Nothing on top
Correct.
of just the mortgage. Okay.
Yep.
And you have no other debt, correct? This is...
Yes, correct.
Okay. And putting 15% to retirement?
We're around 12%, but we're going to bump that up here soon.
Okay. So I would definitely bump that up to 15% before I started making additional mortgage payments.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, we always say that your intents through baby steps 1 through 3, and then more intentional baby steps 4 through 7. So even having sinking funds and all of that, Tanner, I mean, that's part of the enjoyment of your life once
Absolutely.
you've paid off debt and you have your emergency fund. I just want to make sure that something extra is going to the mortgage, because I think that will kind of settle you, just knowing, hey, we are putting something towards this, so we're not going to have it for 15 years, right? You don't want to stay in that habit for too long. Now, if it's just for a season and you guys are like, for the next 6 months, this is how we're going to be, but I get a raise in 6 months, and we're going to allocate that. If there's something that's going to be changing, then I'm comfortable with you guys as you are for just a few months or so for a season. But I wouldn't make this a habit for years and years and years and years, because we want that house paid off too.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense. Yeah. What she's saying is that you want to enjoy the money, but at the same time, if you're not making a concerted effort or an intentional effort to put extra money on the house, however much that is, like for some people, it's making a double payment. For some people, it's, just a small percentage more, depending on what your finances are. But I love that you're even thinking about this. Have you got money? Do you guys have kids? Do you have money set away for college as well?
Yeah, we have 2 529s open currently. We just opened those, so we started investing that as well.
Very cool. So, I mean, you guys are doing everything right. I think it's just figuring out. I'm the type of person. Yeah, I'm the type of person. I like things to feel automated. Like it's this much every month.
Yes.
And it's clockwork.
I was going to say, even Tanner, and again, you don't have to do this today because none of this is urgent, here in the next day. We get some callers that were like, no, you need to sell the car today. Like there are things you have to make today. But what I would say is maybe you guys try, maybe in 2 months, I'm just throwing something out there, to be like, hey, what if we put an extra just like 200? 200, 300, and that sinking fund goes down a little bit, and then we kind of have to reallocate, live on that for a little bit and see how that feels. And again, if it's crazy stressful and you're like, shoot, we have a beach trip, we really need, you can kind of fluctuate it, but just start to try these things, because so much of this money management, I have found, Jade, is it's habits. And like you said, when things are automated and they just become a part of your life, you almost learn to live with it. So if you guys took that sinking fund to 800, put 200 extra a month towards the mortgage, go to RamseySolutions.com and do the mortgage calculator too. And even that math could be motivating. We're like, oh wow, maybe we can actually decrease it to 700 and throw 300 at it, because we'll get it out, we'll pay it off this much more. And that's to say, Tanner, this is a 7-year goal. Most people pay off their home in 7 years. So in 7 years from now, you're going to be making more money.
Yes.
Who knows what life things are going to happen. So I do see progress happening, but I want you guys to try to live a certain way for a bit just to see like, yeah, maybe a little uncomfortable, but also, gosh, we're at least making progress towards the house.
That's right. How does that hit you, Tanner? Like, and by the way, I didn't even ask you, how much do you have left to go on the house?
We just bought it about a year ago, so we're at around 320-ish right now.
And what's your income? Like, what's your full...
Household income is around 140.
Cool. Yeah, this is exciting. I love these conversations when there's this freedom surrounding it. You're not, like Rachel said, you're not pressed to do anything right away. I think this is really, really exciting. And again, it's just, what you said, Rachel, is so true. Just like when you start budgeting for the first time, right? You get a hold of this and you're like, okay, you don't want to make like these drastic cuts right away, because you're never going to see. It's like you do a little by little and you're like, okay, I'll pull back on the groceries here. I'll pull back on eating out here. How does that feel? Okay, great. We can pull back a little bit more here. And it's the same thing when it comes to tackling something like paying off the house. Like you might say, oh, we're going to put $1,000 every month, but let's cool out for a second.
Yes.
Let's try with a little bit first. See if you can actually maintain that. And then if it feels right, keep going and be very intentional about that. And that's one of the things I love about Every Dollar is you can do that easily.
Yes.
You can set up, I don't think a lot of people understand this. So when we talk about Every Dollar, it's our budgeting software here at Ramsey Solutions. And it's been around for a while. I've had it since it very first came out. And when it first came out, you couldn't do all the stuff that you can do with it today. Like now you can do the sinking funds in there. You can do the irregular income in there. You can use it to even see like what's your financial roadmap going to be over the course of time. So when we talk about these things, it's very exciting because you can see, oh, if I make these payments, this is how long it's going to take me to get out of debt, or this is how long it's going to take me to save my emergency fund, or even this is how long it's going to take me to, build up the retirement I want. So I love that he's...
Yeah. And it's amazing how, we said it earlier, but how habitual things are. Like we're creatures of habit. I think it's just like that is a known thing. And so all of you even that are out there listening that are trying to maybe pay off debt or get your emergency fund, and there's still some sacrifices, maybe you're having to make or want to make, or even someone like Tanner that's like, yeah, I'm here on baby step 6, but maybe some small tweaks here or there. I think it's a great exercise to even look at your budget. And you mentioned Every Dollar because Winston and I use it. And even that, Jade, I'm like, we have our set categories that pretty much go month to month. We add probably 4 a month, depending on the month. And, whether it's a trip or there's kids' sports fees or whatever, right? So some things are added. But overall, it's like we have our same transactions, basically, our same bills. Like everything is so similar. That we pressure, we kind of put pressure on ourselves to be like, golly, we're so habitual in this. What if we took down some categories?
That's right.
Can we actually live without it? And the closest one right now is cable.
Oh,
Winston wants to cut it so bad.
Rachel.
I still have Comcast, y'all, and he's like, let's just live without it for 3 months and see what happens. And I'm like,
I have questions though. Why?
Because the Real Housewives, Bravo. I don't know. I just like my stuff. I like my stuff. So
no, I agree with you. I would have a hard time cutting it. I'm like, dang, I live like no one else. I get to live like no one else. I'm keeping the cable. This is the Ramsey Show.
Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
What's up, guys? You're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm your host today, Jade Warshaw, joined by author and fellow co-host and host of The Rachel Cruz Show, Rachel Cruz. Give us a call today if you want to. We can chat it up. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. And the question of the day today is brought to you by Neighborly. Your hub for home services. Home improvement is not always about repairs or remodels. Sometimes it's about comfort. Mosquito Joe service can handle your outdoor pest control and make it fun and comfortable to go outside all season long. I think that I need that because the mosquitoes are tearing me up on my porch.
It's terrible.
Visit neighborly.com to find a service near you.
All right, so today's question actually comes from our Baby Steps community Facebook group. My husband is an engineer and pays all the main house bills, including the mortgage, electricity, and water. He has a retirement account and a nice emergency fund for our family. He has no debt. He pays most of the groceries and gas. We have 2 kids, so I work part-time at a vet clinic and have 2 other side hustles. I do pet sitting and have a small business where I sell soap, art, and teach classes. My small business doesn't profit towards our family yet, since most of my income goes back into the business. I imagine I will have profit next year. I pay my own bills, and I feel like I just can't get ahead because a lot of the large expenses are court-related from a previous relationship. Okay, so do you have any advice how to manage this? I'm currently not saving any money, and I work my buns off to pay these bills for them to just kind of maintain where they are, and I can't get ahead.
Wow.
Okay. Well, this is there's multiple layers we could go here, Jade.
Yes.
So my highest layer, what I would say is, it's a mantra we talk a lot about on this show, and that is that you guys need to work together. I mean, you are acting financially here like roommates, that he pays these bills, I pay those. That's what I literally did in college when I lived in an apartment. We split it like 4 things. Someone was in charge of the paper towels. Someone was in charge of everyone had their own divvied up thing. And that's how you live. This is not how you live with your spouse, with someone that you are married to, that you're sharing a life with, and that's for multiple reasons. So you can cut me off, Jade, because this is like my soapbox.
No, girl, you go, girl.
But I'm like, it is a financial mistake, number one. We can go there because
I agree.
You just can't get ahead financially as this woman is experiencing. So it is harder to get ahead financially when you are not putting all of your money into one pile and saying, hey, where are we going to divvy this up? And you're working as a team. So the financial setback is very real. And then there's the emotional setback that I think is very true. Now, I always caveat this. If you are in a relationship that maybe you're separated, it is heading, you're going to serve papers, or there's abuse, there's addiction. Like, there are definitely caveats that you want to protect yourself and set a boundary. We are not
100%.
mad at that. But for the couples out there that are just living their life on 2 separate tracks just because in the name of trust, maybe there are trust issues, or in the name of independence, whatever the thing is. Yeah. We beg you to be like,
we beg of you.
We do. We beg of you to say, let's work together because of that other aspect, which is the emotional side. Yeah. That when you see yourself as a team, when you trust the other person so much that you're sharing a very, very, valuable asset in your life, which is your money, but you have that ability to have that level of communication, trust, intimacy that is created when you work together. So
I agree. And, like you said, this originally came from the Baby Steps community, and the comments there was a lot of comments on it. And, I think, one of them was like, hey, I just want financial advice. I don't want marriage advice. And so, Rachel, a lot of times people do separate those categories and they don't see it as the same thing. It's like, no, it's like that compartmentalization of, this is my marriage, this is my job, this is, and it's like, it's not really like that. All of that stuff bleeds together. And when you try to keep it so separate, I just have practical questions, honestly, because I'm like, really, if you're can I just play this out?
Go, Jay.
If I'm in a marriage and let's just say I'm doing great, I'm making my money, I don't have a lot of debt, but let's just say Sam Warshaw, he's not making so much money. He's got a little bit of debt. And I say, hey, let's go out to dinner. What does that look like?
What do you do?
Am I ordering the tomahawk steak and he's ordering a side salad and I'm just eating and looking at him like, well, You just need to get your money, in check.
Know.
What does that look like? What does it look like if 1 month it's just tight for him and his side of the rent or his side of the mortgage is
or the
late?
bills that he's supposed to pay, the water, whatever. Yeah.
I just feel like that. I mean, marriage has its own difficulties.
Yep.
As in and of
Amen.
itself.
Yes.
I just feel like that would add such a level of stress and strain, and like, you owe me, and like your spouse could become your debt collector. Your spouse could become the
the person you owe money to.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a horrible thing for intimacy in a marriage, to be like, oh, I'm avoiding you because I owe you the rent.
Yep.
Is this I need people to take to the comments on this, because I need to understand, is this real? Is this what people are facing?
Yep.
When they don't combine their finances? I'm like, we share a bed.
Yes.
I
know, we laugh all the
carried your
time.
children.
Like, our DNA is together running around in this child.
Yes.
Right? I mean, like there is so much here.
Yes, but you won't put your $5 over in my account.
Yes.
Or you won't.
Right.
Come on.
And if it is trust issues, then those are the issues that you need to face. Because I hear so often, Jade, like, gosh, and I still see it in my comments all the time because I get so much hate for this. But people are like, well, we fought all the time when our money was together. Now that we've separated, we don't fight. I'm like, yeah, because you're avoiding the issue. So actually your fighting was creating some level of conflict, which in turn is some level of intimacy of you actually having to deal with issues.
Such a good point.
Than just completely just ignoring it. And what scares me about that is, we talked about it in the first segment, how we're creatures of habit. When that starts to be in one area of your marriage that you're compartmentalizing, like you're saying, that you can't compartmentalize that. It will seep into other areas of your marriage too. So there's just this, and so if you're out there and maybe, it's even like, this lady in the Baby Steps community that posted this, and you find yourself, I can't combine accounts with my spouse. Ask yourself why. Yeah. Actually, what is it? Is it fear from a past relationship? Because that's real. People have gotten, screwed over in a divorce. Like, something has happened in their past.
Let's talk about that first. Let's talk about that for a second, because I follow several different finance pages online, and one of the girl I follow, she very much wants to help women feel empowered so they don't get screwed if it goes down in a divorce. Yeah. Because that's what happened to her. Yes. And my thing is, like, if you do this the right way, you shouldn't get screwed. Your name, if you are an active participant in the finances,
your name will be on the mortgage.
Yes. Your name is on the mortgage. If you have the 401k, he's listed as your beneficiary. If he has it, it's everything is handled to the point where you're listed on everything that you should be listed on along with him. So I don't really see how that argument fleshes out of if there's a divorce, he'll clean you out or she'll clean you out. Does that make sense?
Yes. And unless it's a situation, which I know happens. We've had callers on the show where there is a level of major control from one spouse. There's abuse that's played in that. Yes. And they clean out the account. You're right. Like there's that. But if you're in that situation, you don't want to combine accounts. That's right. I would separate. If you're in a marriage that there's danger for you, we don't want you. Yes, we don't want you combining accounts with a person like that. So, but again, like you're saying, overall, it's so hard. And then another thing, Jay, that I hear, this is so tactical and so shallow compared to everything we were talking about.
Come on, let's get it.
But I get this a lot too. Well, how can I buy a gift for my spouse? How can we buy a gift? That's great. So again, on a tactile side, you guys, get a Visa gift card.
Okay.
Your anniversary's coming up. Yeah. It's not like it's going to be a surprise. Yeah. Like, so talk about it. Or birthdays, like whatever. Like most of these life events are not surprises. They're dates on the calendar that you're both very aware of. Or if it is, something that's secretive, just say, hey, and maybe blow the surprise a little bit and just say, I want to do something for you. This amount's coming out for a Visa gift card. Just so you know, I'm going to go and buy some stuff with like there's ways around it. So don't let that silly, stupid excuse stop you from the intimacy that's created in actually having a marriage where you're one.
I agree. So. And I get a little sneaky. I'm not going to lie. I will go to the grocery store and like under the guise of like the grocery budget, I'll take out a little bit of cash back here and there. So he doesn't know, because if he knows, it's like, oh, you bought a $200 gift card. I know. I have a feeling of what you're getting
for
me.
Like him for something.
So I'll like sneak it out a little bit. Maybe that's, I don't know if that's Sam, controversial.
Here's your present, Sam.
This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dr. John Deloney here. I'm a huge fan of both meditation and prayer. And good mental health includes slowing down, gaining control of your thoughts, and plugging into something bigger than you. And Hallow makes it easy to start a daily practice of meditation, prayer, and finding peace. Hallow is the #1 Bible app in the world, and you can tailor content towards your faith tradition. From scripture readings and prayers to meditation and journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice prayer, meditate, and build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life and rediscover true peace. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today to get 3 months of Hallow for free. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm Jade Gorshaw. This is Rachel Cruz to the right of me. If you are watching on YouTube, which so many of you guys watch and listen to the show there. Of course, there's a podcast that you can listen to on wherever you listen to podcasts. But did you guys know that we're actually on Twitter as well? That is right. The Ramsey Show is streaming on Twitter. I didn't even know this was possible, Rachel.
I know. I haven't been on Twitter in a long time, Jade, so I don't know either, but
yeah, you can watch it. The Ramsey Show, twitter.com/The Ramsey Show. And you can also follow us on Twitter, either as The Ramsey Show, but all the personalities are on there as well.
Yes, yes.
So if you are looking for a place to watch the show, I highly suggest it. Actually, go watch the show wherever you want to. I just want you to watch the show. So whether you log into the app, whether you go on Twitter, whether you go onto the YouTube, I actually prefer YouTube, but we just want you to watch it. Of course, we want you to share the show if you enjoy it. Share it with your friends, talk about it, like it, subscribe it. All of that stuff helps us. It helps you, and it pumps it up in the algorithms so that other people can see the show as well. So that is great. Without further ado, we're going to Hartford, Connecticut to talk to Josh. What's going on, Josh?
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh, perfect. Happy Friday. Thanks for taking my call. It means a lot. And also, thanks for all you guys do for the community.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
What's up?
So I have a two-part question for you guys today. Sort of regarding housing and relocation. So to give you a little bit of background, I've been in Connecticut my entire life, and I'm finally at a point where I'm looking to relocate down south to a place you may have heard of called Nashville.
Oh, come on, Josh. Everyone else is coming.
That's what I was thinking. So, it's a beautiful spot. I love it down there. I've been there so many times. So the first part of my question is about that. Moving down to Nashville, do I go right out and buy a new house, or do I rent a house for a few years and figure it out? The reason I say a house and not an apartment is because I have some side hustles that require me to have a house, and I don't want to necessarily lose the income from that. The second part of my question is, what do I do with the house I currently have in Connecticut? Regarding, do I rent it out while living in Tennessee, or do I just sell it and walk away with the money?
Wow.
I'm curious, first and foremost, what kind of side hustles do you do that require you to have a house? I'm just curious.
I agree.
Well, so the main thing is I'm actually on YouTube. I do barbecue, so I do like smoking and griddling and all that good stuff.
Okay.
And I know you can't necessarily park a smoker outside an apartment complex.
I feel that.
So,
Gotcha. That's
cool.
great.
And then, and then I'm also a drummer. Go figure.
So you need you can't be drumming at 10 a.m. with the apartment neighbors banging on the wall.
Right. Yeah.
Got
exactly.
it.
That's
Cool.
so good. Well, as long as your budget and your income allows you to have a house, I'm good with it. But for some reason, if you're like, no, it's 80% of my income has to go to a house, a rent payment or a mortgage payment, I'd find another place to drum and barbecue. So these aren't like things that are exclusive. I'm assuming that you'll be able to get a house, and that's great if that's an option. But I
still like him renting until he learns
100%.
the area.
Yes. So that's what I would say for sure, Josh, is rent for a year. Because like any city, and I would say this with anyone moving anywhere, but you said Nashville specifically. I'm like, okay, well, you've got, You've got Hendersonville. You've got East Nashville. You've got Murfreesboro. You've got 12 South. You've got Franklin. You've got Ashland City. Like there are so many, just like majority of cities that you're going to find, right?
Spring Hill.
So many parts. Spring Hill. Sorry, I forgot you, Jane. So many parts, of a city that you want to know, okay, where do I need to be location-wise, maybe for a job, if you have to drive somewhere, what you can afford. I mean, all of it. So you want to know the area. So definitely rent for a year. And again, that goes to anybody moving to any city is to definitely rent. And then Josh, I would sell. Being a long distance landlord is
so far away.
No fun. No fun.
And my guess is that if you had started in Nashville, you wouldn't be like, I want to have a rental house in Connecticut. Like that sounds like a dream,
Exactly.
So you don't want to hang on to it just because you have it by default. And I'm sure it'd be nice to have that money in your pocket.
How much would the house sell for? How much would you be able to walk away with?
Yeah, so I bought it for $222 in 2019, and I only owe $138 on it.
Okay.
And I would walk away, according to my realtor, with a minimum. He could sell for $350-ish. So yeah, about $180, $200, hopefully.
That's wonderful. That's great. So you could just park that in a high yield savings account while you rent and learn the area and figure out,
What do you make a year, Josh, with all your side hustles?
I would say conservatively 110.
Okay. That's great. And you're single?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just you. Yeah. So I think that's great. I mean, you're making a great income. It's just you. So you're not having to worry about school zones and all the other things.
Yeah.
And so you're able to figure out what fits in your life. So I think that's awesome. So yep, I would do exactly what Jade said. Park that 200 and rents, keep that income coming in, and then when you decide to buy somewhere and to put a good down payment, you'll have some good savings to do that.
I love it. Thanks, Josh, for the call. That was a great call. Let's see what Demi's talking about. She's in Denver, Colorado. What's going on, Demi? Is it Demi or Demi?
It is Demi. You got it right.
Here we go. That's right. You don't say semi tractor trailer truck. You say, I'm just saying. Some of y'all got that. Okay. What's going on?
Well, thank you guys for taking my call. My question is, I'm wondering if, with all of the student loans kind of coming back into effect, if applying for repayment options is going to hinder the progress that my husband and I are currently making on the baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of background is we're currently in baby step number 2, and we're on lesson number 4 of financial peace. So we might learn more about this in the future. But I had some money saved to pay off some of the student loans. But then, unfortunately, my husband lost his job, and as he's searching for a new job, we've kind of used some of that as a buffer to make ends meet because we're still adjusting our budget.
How much are the student loans?
So, student loans are $14,500.
Okay, and how much other debt do you have? Sorry, I kind of kicked in, but I want to make sure we get to help you before the clock runs out.
Yeah, no, other debt is we just have $38,500, and that's just in family loans.
How much do you guys make a year?
So with just my income right now, it's $50,000.
Okay, and how long has he been looking for a job?
About a month.
Okay, and what was he making in his previous job?
He was making kind of just under what I was making, but we were roughly
about
similar.
50. Okay,
so around 100 total.
Yeah.
So without his debt, without his income, are you guys able to cover like basic bills, minimum pay? Like, are you able to cover what it takes to live?
Barely.
Okay, so you're definitely not making extra payments.
Right. Yeah, we're kind of just making it through right now. So as I'm sitting here thinking come October and looking at the amount that's going to be due, that's definitely not in the budget.
Okay. Well, I think, Demi, what I would say is between now and October, he either needs to have his full-time job or he's going to need to have 3 side hustles put together. So, I mean, it's not like you guys are going to be floating with $50,000. He needs to be doing something because you guys have all this debt, right? I mean, you guys aren't in a position for him to be looking forever and ever. And maybe it's him taking a job that is not his favorite job for a year just to get you guys through this process. But I think him getting an income between now and October is necessary and doable, whether, again, it's a full-time job or he puts together 2 or 3 side hustles that he does, but bringing in something to be able to help cover and put down this. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go for a repayment option at this point because you're not in this urgent state. You guys
you've got time.
You have time.
And like Rachel, you put it beautifully, get something until you get what you want. He needs to be making some income until he can ultimately make the income that he wants to be making at the job that he wants to have. Anything is better than nothing. That's right. And I mean, you've got time. You know, the interest is going to start back in August and then payments resuming. So you've got a little bit of time here. Don't panic. I never want people to take the repayment plans, guys. The lower the payment, the longer you're going to have the loan, and the larger that loan is going to grow over time. So try to avoid that at all costs. This is The Ramsey Show. What's going on, guys? You're listening to The Ramsey Show. I am your host, Jade Warshaw, joined by Rachel Cruz. We are taking calls all day, all afternoon about your life and your money. So be sure to give us a call. 888-825-5225 is how you can get a hold of us. And I want to tell you guys this. If you're a new listener and you want to dive deeper into the Ramsey baby steps, I want you right now, or as soon as you get a chance, to go to RamseySolutions.com, and I want you to click on that Get Started button. And we're going to just help you figure out what's the best next step for you on your financial journey. And that's based on exactly where you're at today. So go to RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started so you can know what's up. Figure out what it is that we're talking about. When we talk to you guys about the baby steps, when we use certain terminologies. If you're new to this whole thing, Rachel, you could be like, I don't know what they're talking about.
What language are they speaking over there?
I never read the Total Money Makeover. What even is it? You know, so go to RamseySolutions.com and figure out what that is, because there's so much information there. It's just going to blow your mind, and it's going to help you move forward no matter where you're at today. So that's how that works. In the meantime, we're going to go to Jen in Phoenix, Arizona. What's going on, Jen?
Hi, I'm Jen, and thank you for taking my call. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for calling. How can we help?
So I'm in a sticky wicket, and we have like $45,000 worth of credit card debt and a house with a lot of equity. My husband works. He's a line apprentice, like an electrical lineman apprentice, and he's working outside the home right now in Albuquerque. So we're kind of paying for 2 households, and it got expensive and a little crazy. And we had 3 kids in like 3 years. So there's just been a lot of stress, and I need to know, like, how do I get out of this? Do I sell the house that we have? It's got
and move
really
to Albuquerque. How long are you guys going to be separated for his job?
He's got 3 years-ish.
Jen,
3 years.
Jen, you guys, this isn't going to last. This isn't good. This would not be a good situation to be in for 3 years. If you told me 3 months, then I'd be like, all right, we can stick this out. But
yeah, what's keeping you from, what's the mentality that's saying we're going to stay here while you go there? Explain that a little bit.
Well, he's living in an RV because he can be relocated like at any time. So, like,
but you said 3 years.
Mobile. Yes, he will do this for 3 years. Like, he was in El Paso before, now he's in Albuquerque.
Okay, will he move in 3 years? He will be relocated to another city, correct?
Yes, at minimum every 6 months.
Okay, so here's how I would almost treat it, Jen. It almost sounds, again, totally different. I don't want to get hated on for this, but almost like a military. That's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, it's like a military situation.
Yeah.
And we always tell military families to rent, especially while they're active duty, because they move bases, right? Very consistently. And owning a home, you want to own a home for 5 years or longer, just to get the wave through, the ups and the downs of the market. So, Jen, if I were you got 3 little kids. How old are your kids?
3, 2, and 7 months.
Jen, get to Albuquerque. Go. I would sell. How much is your house? How much equity is in your house?
We owe 137 on it. It's worth like probably 400.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow. Come on and get this money.
Oh yeah. I would. Oh, Jen, in a heartbeat, girl. I would be looking to rent. 2 rents. Okay.
Yeah.
Selling your house in Phoenix. You guys go rent a house in Albuquerque so that you have your husband in the mornings and at night when he's home. Your family is intact. You've been your kids can see their dad. Single mom. Yeah. I mean that and that those ages, Jen. Speaking of moms with little ones. It's exhausting. You're exhausted. Like, I don't even know how you're speaking to us in full sentences because it's so much work. Like, it's just so much. So I would do that. I would sell. And then that's going to help you pay off this credit card debt. But also, I want to know, Jen, what caused you guys to go $45,000 in credit card debt?
I think it was just, just like childcare. Like, I work full time.
Okay.
And have a lot of, it's just been really expensive. We had a lot of kids, and honestly, I think I've been kind of in denial of just not really wanting to care about money very much.
Yeah,
Are
you putting bills on credit cards? Like, are you putting the bill for childcare? Like, are you making ends meet with credit cards?
Yeah, we are making payments towards them, but it's getting to the point where like they're really expensive and we're exhausted. And
Jen, what do you do for a living?
I'm an account executive for commercial insurance. So
okay, how much do you make?
I make like $90,000 a year.
Okay, and how much does your husband make?
About the same right now, but he's only making 60% of his income.
He's only at 60. When will he be at 100%?
In 3 years.
I'm a little confused. You guys have I guess he's at 60% of his income, but y'all make too much money to feel this broke. Let's just put it like that. With these credit cards, are you actively working a budget, or are you kind of just making it work every month? Are you on every dollar? Are you plotting this out? Is there a monthly plan?
No.
Yeah. No, that's okay, Jen.
That's okay.
You're
that's
fine.
What we're here to help you with.
Don't feel shame from that. Yes, because I think what Jade is pointing out is, and I think you said it, Jen, just to say your words back to you, that I think I was avoiding the money situation because it just was. It's been so much. It's just been too hard. And so, what we want to be able to do for you is for you to feel empowered, to be able to know what's going on, because I think part of the ignorance, Jen, is causing a lot of fear. And you don't have hard facts in front of you. And our friend Dr. John Deloney always says, facts are your friends. And you've been dealing in a lot of feelings, which is good. Anna gets feelings, right? We're going to feel the feels. But also, you have to have the facts to be that foundation for you. So I want you to hold on the line, Jen, because Austin's going to pick up. And we want to put you through Financial Peace University, you and your husband. It's an Every Dollar Plus, which is our budgeting tool. And if we give this to you, Jen, as a gift, are you going to use it?
Yeah.
Will you use it?
Yeah.
You promise us. Okay, we want you to use this because I want you and your husband, I want you guys to be on a page together because it even sounds like, and I could only imagine, Jen, I'm like, when your husband is working full time in another city, you're alone. I mean, there's a level of isolation and being a mom, and you're trying to keep up the childcare and the working,
stay alive.
And all of this, like, it's just a lot. And so I think you guys being on the same page financially with the same plan is going to be very helpful. But Jen, you got to get to Albuquerque, girl. I don't know if you have girlfriends in your life to tell you, but Jade and I are here.
Look, y'all
to be like, you guys need to be a family. And I think that's going to allow a lot more peace. I mean, I'm not kidding. Just the presence of having your family unit together and you guys going through Financial Peace University together, you and your husband, like, you guys are going to start to build this foundation to realize what we've been doing isn't working. This idea of having a level of just, I want to be ignorant. I don't want to think about it, which is very normal, Jen. People do, that's a very normal thing. But
Yeah.
But where it's gotten you, how you guys have functions financially, at least, where it's gotten you, you're not happy. You're calling us.
I mean, you can't do much when you're in survival mode, and that's where they're at. Your husband's gone. You're at home with these kids. You're just trying to get through the day. The last thing you're thinking about is making a budget, and you know what I'm saying, like that. Get yourself in a place where you can calm down, you can breathe. Everybody's safe. Everybody's good. Then you can sentence like, okay, because
there's a truth.
Let's open up the door to see the monster in the closet.
Yes,
right?
And Jade feels this too. But I'm like, Jen, I even think about your day, and I'm like, you get home and you have to do dinner for 3 kids. You're doing bath time. You're doing bedtime. I mean, that's a nightmare with 2 parents and the
3 kids under 3.
Yes,
3, 2, and 1.
So you have a lot on you. Just know that too, because that's a lot. So I think getting any level of peace, Jen, is really going to help your quality of life. And what Jade and I can do from this side of the call is encourage you to be with your husband. I would move, and I'm rent in Albuquerque. You guys get on the same page financially, and then all the other stuff of the dynamics of your life and working and childcare and all that, you guys work out. Those are puzzles in this big pieces in this big puzzle. But you got this, Jen. I would make some big life changes. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but I think at the end of the day, it's gonna help you.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, Financial Peace University, definitely the ticket. And when it comes to Financial Peace University, you still got to put in the work. When it comes to your life and your money, you got to do the work. You can tell me that you won't do it, but do not tell me that you can't. With Christ, all things are possible. Never forget that. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jade. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your money, your situation. I am your host, Jade Warshaw, joined by Rachel Cruz, host of The Rachel Cruz Show. If you've never checked that one out, be sure to check that one out as well. We're taking calls all afternoon about your life, what's going on with your money, what's going on with these student loans. If you have anything about student loans, please call in today, because y'all, I can go on and on about this student loan situation. And it's more because I want to help people, Rachel. It's not, I don't want to shame anybody. I want to help you guys because I get it. Some people are really feeling like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? These payments are coming back.
Yeah, it's a reality that's hitting.
Yeah.
And it's very emotional.
Oh,
right?
very
on all
emotional.
Sides. I learned that.
Yeah.
On all sides.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was this carrot dangling out, and so many people, and I hate that happened, because, Rachel, people's full hope was in the fact that maybe these loans could be forgiven, and to just have your hopes dashed like that. I hate that for people. So if you're concerned about that, give us a call, 888-825-5225. But really, you can call us to talk about anything you want to talk about, as long as it's life, money, relationships. Don't just call talking about any old thing. All right. We got Kayla from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Guys, I can't say these words. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Here we go. What's going on, Kayla?
Hi. Thank you
Kayla.
for taking my call.
How are you doing?
I'm good. My husband was like, you should call the Ramsey Show. And I was like, I'm never going to get through. So thank you.
Oh, I'm glad you did. Glad you're here. How can we help?
So my question is, my grandmother is getting older, and my parents and sister are taking a trip to go see her, and they are encouraging me to go, and I'm having a really hard time because we're in baby step 2, and we've been Dave-ish for a bit, but recently we've been more Gazelle, and I'm really having a hard time, like, pausing to do that. And then I'm wondering if I'm going to regret it. So I don't know. I just needed some other perspective.
How old's Grandma? And is she in good health?
92.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
She's 92. And
she's
been in pretty good health. But
she's older. Yeah, for sure.
Older.
So, Kayla,
sorry. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
How much is the trip going to cost you, Kayla, out of pocket?
I think probably around $500. So it's not a ton. I'm mostly paying for the flight. And then my parents have like the car and like the place to stay and everything all secured. So I just have to kind of get there.
Yeah.
But I'm having, they are making a vacation out of it. So they're going for a full week. And so in order for them to like pick me up and me to go with them, I have to be like close to their time frame. And I'm having a really hard time with going for a full week because
Where does she live,
like,
Kayla?
side hustles right now.
Where does she live?
Seattle area.
Okay, well, there's Ubers in Seattle, so you could go for.
I guess she's in Eastern Washington, so she's 5 hours away from the airport.
Okay.
So
you're saying it's a difference between basically your family being able to pick you up and take you to the airport, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so they want me to fly in because they're going to be in the Seattle area, so they could grab me, and then we would drive the like 5 hours together, and then stay there, and then come back. So I can shorten it by like a day. I don't know. I'm having a hard time spending the money on it, but then I feel guilty because I feel like, well, you should go and see her. Then I also have.
Are you close to your
kids,
close to your grandma? Do you have are you going because your family's telling you should go do this, or are you thinking like, man, I love my grandma. This could be the last time I see her. I want to go see her. Just curious.
I love her, but I haven't seen her in like 7 years.
I would probably go see.
I would her.
I would go see grandma too.
I would go, Kayla. But what Jade's getting at is your motivation, Kayla, needs to be for you, not to be guilt tripped by your parents to go and see her. So I think it's a very honorable thing. We just actually spoke to Winston's grandmother on FaceTime last night, and she's 95, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it's a treasure to still have family. At that age living. So I think it's amazing. So I do think Kayla at 50 years old will not regret taking this trip. So even on baby step 2, we say if there's a wedding and you have someone in your family getting married, your brother's getting married in a different, like you go cheap, you go as cheap as possible.
Don't go into debt.
And Kayla, I would be curious. I'm almost tempted just to get my phone out and start Googling for you. I would be curious a rental car. Rental cars are not that, maybe $200, Kayla, for you 100%. To rent a car, to do that, or maybe even where she lives, you could do a one-way rental, which sometimes is more expensive. But I would start to price out options and look. But I think, again, what Jade said earlier, I think is very spot on. I want your motivation for this trip to be for you, not because you're pleasing your parents out of some guilt, right? But if Kayla wants to go see her grandmother who's 92, and that this is a great time to go because your other family's going and all this, we're great with that, right? If you just do it really inexpensively.
And you'll make the trip tailored to what makes sense for you, not my family's doing this trip. They're doing 5 to 7 days. I'm doing 5 to 7 days. I'm trying to be, and then do you see what I'm saying? And then you're having to coordinate with them, and you end up doing things that you weren't going to do, spending more money. But if you're like, I want to go see grandma.
And even sorry.
No, that's okay. If you're like, I want to go see grandma, for me, this is what makes sense. I'm going to get there on a Monday and I'm going to leave on a Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're doing it for you so that you plan the trip that makes sense for you. And then you leave it feeling good about what you did. There's no guilt. There's no expectation that your family may have had from you.
Yeah, and your flights, Kayla, you could even, not feel like you have to fly the same airline your parents are flying in the same time. You may even price out the difference of airlines per time. Could save you $200-$300 round trip. So yeah, I think you owning the trip more just for you from a logistical standpoint is going to make you feel not only just more in control, but also you're going to have more control over your money and what you're choosing to do. So I think that's important. So I would go, Kayla, but again, I would do it more on my own terms, and tell your parents that. I mean, I would. I'd be like, guys, we're getting out of debt. We're doing this, so I'm going to go as cheap as possible. I don't want, I would even
don't wait on me. Don't plan it around me. Just y'all do y'all's thing. I'll do my thing.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
I'm just like, I feel like if I go for a whole week, it's like a week of me missing work, and then my husband has to miss his like second job.
Yeah, don't go for a whole week. Don't do it.
And I have a baby, and I'm like stressed about being away from the baby.
Girl, do not go for a whole week. Go for the amount of time that makes sense for your life and your relationship.
And being a mom is really trumps a lot of this too. Like, right, if you have a new baby and you're not like, and that's become a priority than other things, that's a very real thing too, Kayla. So a couple of things flying in the mix, Jade, but
we're never going to tell somebody to not go see their 92-year-old grandma.
Yes.
Let's be real about that.
We're actually human. We have hearts, unlike some people on the internet think.
I just know some people were hanging on the edge of their seat like, is Rachel and Jade about to tell her not to go see her dying grandma? Of course not.
I know.
Go see grandma. Like, these things, like you said, when you're 50 years old, you're going to go, oh, I had that last moment. Like those are things that you treasure for a lifetime. And money is important, don't get me wrong, but it's some things that are more important, like family. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, you know that sinking feeling when you make an offer on a house you love and then you hear there's another offer? You need the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge. Super fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate, plus a $5,000 seller guarantee gives your offer the best chance of being accepted. The Home Buyer Edge from Churchill gives you an advantage over those other guys. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more.
All right, guys, you're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm your host, Jade Warshaw, joined by Rachel Cruz, and we just love talking about money. We like talking about the things that nobody wants to talk about. It's very rare, Rachel, that people want to talk about their debt, that they want to talk about how much savings they do or don't have, that they want to talk about the things that are stressing them out. But on this show, you can call in and we can open up the closet door, look at the monster, figure out what's going on, and hopefully help you solve your problem. And that's the key. We're just here to help you. You are the secret sauce in the solution. You are the one that's actually going to go out there and make those changes. We're just going to give you a little kick in the pants, give you some little advice to do so. So if you want to give us a call us, 888-825-5225, and we're going to just help you out on your journey. That's what we're here to do. All right, let's go to the phone line. We got Joseph in Las Vegas, Nevada. Got that one right. What's going on, Joseph?
Well, thank you, Jade Warshaw, for the taking my phone call. Just a quick thing. To write cards with a debit card, you could use Turo. I use that all the time.
Yeah.
Just a heads up.
Yes.
I was calling in regards to a question regarding saving and investing. So my question is, I had a family emergency about a year ago that's still ongoing, and I haven't been able to work, but I've been able to get paid to take care of loved ones who are sick. And my question is about the best strategy for saving and putting money aside for the future things that I might want, like a future vacation just to take for myself, or, things expensive, life expenses. I'm also in college, too.
Okay.
And I was recently given terrible advice by a close family friend who I love a lot, who said that, he doesn't think the fact that I'm going to community college and paying cash for it is good. He says I should go to a private Catholic school.
Oh, no.
Did you tell him where he can put his advice in a pipe and smoke it?
I want to tell him that because
go ahead and tell him and tell him that I told you to tell him.
Shoot, Joseph. Okay, so are you a student in like an expensive college?
I go to a community college. I'm paying cash for a community college.
You're still here. Oh, I thought you took the advice, and I was like, oh, no. Oh,
no, he's doing right. He's doing right.
Okay, good. I'm so sorry. I'm so thankful, Joseph. I thought we were going to have to climb you out of some student loan debt from a private school. Okay, good.
No, Joseph is the man. Great. He's doing it right.
Good for you, Joseph. Okay.
Yeah, and I've always been anti-student loan, and my grandparents they've paid off their house or Ramsey everything except they like to use credit cards, which is one thing that I don't like, but still I really am not in a position to tell them what and what not to do. I just live my life and let them live how they want.
Joseph, how old are you?
I'm 18.
You're 18. Okay. And you are currently in community college and you're helping take care of some family members. Is that what you said? What was the incident that happened that put you in this position?
So my family members really got recently very sick. My grandfather had COVID, and he ended up in the hospital, and I'll just say it digressed very, very badly. My grandmother has always had arthritis, but she recently got diagnosed with, she had cancer a few years ago, and so she was in and out of surgeries, and she has low back, so it's kind of all kind of very bad.
And you're put in charge of taking care of them. Where are your parents? I'm just curious.
Actually, we've all been very fortunate enough to live all right next to each other.
Okay.
So my mom works my mom recently finished her master's in 2014 and moved to become, she works for the school district, which is, here it's not good. I don't know how it is in Tennessee, but not really the way they treat their staff over there is not good, but she's working there, and
Okay, so what caused you, Joseph, to be the primary caregiver? Was it something that you volunteered because you said, okay, I have the time because I'm just in school, so I can use this as like a part-time, and who's paying you to do this? Because you said you're getting paid.
So that's a good question. I'm getting paid by them. They're giving me money to
your grandparents
take care of them, and then correct.
Okay,
and
I
then
gotcha.
they also help me take care of my school and take care of all that stuff.
Oh,
so.
Wow. That's amazing, Joseph. Yeah, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
And very smart. You've got great instincts about debt and paying for things, college. Very, very good. I hope that you hear that coming from us. So how can we help you? You mentioned that you're wanting to save for the future. You're wanting to, can you unpack that just a little bit so we can see how to best help you?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so I've always been kind of really good with money, but I just haven't had a direction on saving and what like the best saving strategies are for the future. Because I personally think that as much as you invest, you should also save because you have emergencies, and so I want to know what like the best saving strategy is for money.
That's great. Well,
I want to know.
Sure. So I think you're exactly right. There is a difference between savings and investing. And so we want everyone to be completely debt-free with an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. So we consider that your emergency fund savings. So you can put that just in a high-yield savings account, have that there. And then when you look for long-term investing, that's where you're looking at retirement funds like a 401k, if your job in the future offers that, opening up a Roth IRA and investing in that. So those are two great investing options for the future. But I would encourage you, Joseph. I mean, you're 18. You have plenty of time, and people in your stage of life, we really do encourage to. It sounds so cheesy, but it's like the line of investing in yourself. Yeah, that you have a lot of life ahead of you, not just through college, through job change. You may decide in 3 years, hey, I have this career passion, and you get an offer in, Seattle or something, right? And you end up moving. And so there's just a lot of change that can happen between 18 and even 22. Yeah. And so we always tell people to, as much cash as you can have saved is going to be really the best bet instead of investing, which you want to get to later, right? And you're in your early to mid 20s and you'll get there. But for right now, Joseph, I would really focus on just saving that cash, because even transferring to a bigger state school, you may have the money to be like, I want to get my diploma actually from here because there's a special, a type of school you want to go to, or whatever the case may be. It gives you options. When you have money, it gives you choices. It gives you options. And if it's invested, we talk to a lot of people that call in and they think, oh gosh, well, I don't want to take that money out now to pay off debt because the market's down. Like you're trying to time the market. Yeah. And having cash available at your age, Joseph, is going to be such a game changer. So
that's right. Even coming out of school when the time comes, obviously you're transitioning from community college eventually to university. That's going to be more expensive. Yeah. And then at some point you're going to graduate and you're going to come out of school, or maybe while you're still in college, you might have the opportunity to move into your own apartment. Like all of these things, your situation has the ability to change greatly at any point. So just keep your money liquid, keep it saved. And then like Rachel said, you've got those options. You can pull from it whenever you need. How does that strike you?
That honestly, I love your philosophy. I love the way you laid it out, and like, I love what you said about the saving and the investing can come later just because of how young I am. And, one of the most important things I think I learned from your dad, Rachel, over the years is that, you want to stay away from debt as much as you can. And when that family friend, says things like, a student loan is a good debt, I just almost want to slap him in the face. So
I feel that. Don't slap him.
It's so good, Joseph. And honestly, man, I'm telling you, this isn't me just like puffing up this fake reality. The truth is, Joseph, you're going to be a multimillionaire in your life. You are. Like, you're going to start investing very soon. You're going to have the cash for it. You're working now. You're a smart guy. Like you said, you're staying away from debt. So your income's going to come in, and it's going to be all yours to help you grow more wealth and to be generous and give and to spend and enjoy life. Like, that is so powerful, Joseph. And at 18 years old, if you start that in your early 20s and you start investing, you are mathematically, you're going to be a multimillionaire. So we're rooting for you.
Some of y'all old school listeners who have been listening and you're still on the fence and you're still doing the credit card game. It's like, oh, I love listening to Ramsey, but I still have my credit cards. Take a lesson from Joseph. Joseph is taking all of us to school because he's a young cat and he gets it. And so some of you guys are watching and you're in your 30s and 40s and you're still not sure if you're going to get on board with this. You're still deciding if it can work or if it can't. Joseph gets it.
He's doing it.
He's taking all of us to school. So guys, this stuff works if you work it. He's going to be a multimillionaire. What about you? You got the choice. You get to decide. It's totally up to you. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
What's going on, guys? You're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm Jade Warshaw, your host, joined with Rachel Cruz, also hosting today. If you want to talk with us, give us a call. The number is 888-825-5225. But before we go to the phone lines, I am so excited to talk about this, Rachel, because this for me is like, all right, this is it. So, a couple of weeks back, I guess it's already been a couple of weeks back, I made this post about when Sam and I were going through our debt-free journey, baby step 2. You know, of course, here at Ramsey, we're always measuring things in terms of the baby steps, right? So those are the milestones, right? You hit baby step 1, you get to baby step 2, and you keep going, and those are those mile markers. But along the way, you know, the journey becomes a little bit more personalized and you start to create your own milestones throughout the journey. And I remember, so on the post I was sharing, I was saying, man, when Sam and I were going through this, our first milestone was, can we just pay all of our bills just using our income? Because it was so tight. And so that was like thing one, like if we can just be a person that pays their bills every month with their income, not using debt, we are living. Like
we're doing it.
We're on top of the world. And then it became, okay, that's great. Now if we can be people who, get this, I just wanted to be a person that never overdraws their account. Like can we just make it 6 months without overdrawing the account? Like that's how bad it was. And so that became the milestone. And it's like, then you hit that and, you know, the next one comes. So I was sharing that on the internet. And one of the biggest milestones was if we could just, Rachel, get to the point where we can buy all 4 tires at once, just shell out, you know, $800 or $600, whatever it was, I'm Scrooge McDuck. You can't tell me nothing at that point, right? And so
I made money at that point.
I made money. And so I told people, I'm like, tell me Tell me your milestones. I want to know what they are. And so, Rachel, what people wrote, it's just
so good.
I love it. I love it.
So good.
One girl wrote, she goes, girl, if I can buy lunch meat from the deli counter, I made it. I made it.
Okay, this would be me too. I love this one. Not overthinking if I want guac at Chipotle or not. Because they always say, it's going to be extra. Do you want it? And it's like
$1.99.
Should I know? But when you're like, yeah.
Pile
Put
it
that
on.
guac on. I'm good.
Queso too. Pile it on.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Yes, when you care about the calories more than you care about the money, that's right. When you know it. That's when you know it's right. This one, she says, girl, when I can buy the paper and the bathroom products in the same day as my groceries, now I'm living.
I love it. I love it.
Love this.
Someone said, yeah, biggest milestone, going on a nice vacation, paid in full. Ooh. I appreciate that. 'Cause that's some savings right there.
Then the vacation doesn't follow you home in debt, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I love this. She says, oh, I love this one. She goes, my first milestone was making it to the next paycheck without having to resort to credit cards. And I feel that.
Yes.
I felt that in my soul. I felt that because, you know, well, sometimes everybody that uses credit cards is not using it just to go crazy and spend. Some people are really trying to just live. You know what I mean? Like survive their basic needs. So I felt that.
Totally. I like this one. When I could buy ribeyes at the grocery store just because we felt like it. Hashtag luxury lifestyle.
It's so great. Or even this one. Okay, this one again hit me hard. Randy Rainey, he says, putting the mortgage and the utilities on auto pay. Yes, living and loving it. And that one hit me too, Rachel, because to this day, I think I was talking to Dave one day about it. Before, we never put anything on auto pay because it's like, you don't know, like something could happen, something comes out, it's the wrong time. Next thing you know, you've overdrawn. And then maybe something on auto pay then came out too. And now you're overdrawn twice and these fees and penalties are hitting you. And before you know it, it's a different type of snowball effect.
That's right.
And it's like, now in today's financial situation, I still have that moment where I'm like, if somebody says auto pay, I'm like, oh, no. And then I'm like, no, you know what? Yeah, you go ahead and put that on auto pay and it's going to be all right.
It's amazing, Jay. That's why I love you guys, your story. I mean, it's so impressive. It's so impressive. And it's the true proof of like, you guys, all of this that we're talking about. I'm like, that it happens and it works. It's like just doing the program and showing it. I'm like, it's amazing. And that's what I love about even all of our hosts. Like, you know, Ken has a different story. I have a different story being like the second generation, the kid, the second generation of your parents doing it, all of it. I'm like, every person that sits here and all of you listening right now, everyone has a different story.
You have your story.
You're in a different place. But here's the consistent thing is believing that you can do it.
Yes.
And that these milestones, as deep as some of these feel for you, Jade, and as fun as some of these are,
I think everybody relates somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody.
And there's just truth in owning where you are and deciding to make progress going forward. Because it may take longer for some, shorter than others, but all of these lifestyle, right? All of this can happen.
That's right. And so we want you guys, I have enjoyed this so much. It's tickled me to read these. So if you have one of those like milestones that's like, hey, Jade, when I hit this point, I'm living my life. Please comment that. Put it in the YouTube comments, put it in your podcast comments. Or you can go on, my page, Jade Warshaw, and comment. Guys, if you want me to read the comments, put them on Instagram and I'll read all of them. But now don't fight me. I don't want to fight on the page, but go put your comment in there. But what Rachel said is so true. At the end of the day, the way we get to these milestones is we've got to be intentional about our finances, right? It doesn't it's not a magic trick that happens overnight, right? For anybody, I don't care where you're at. Even if you're doing well financially, you have a great income and you just want to do better about investing more.
Well, Jade, we see studies still of people making upwards of $200,000 and they're living paycheck to paycheck.
That's right.
So I'm we really do learn. Yes. Does your income help you? It's your shovel to go and like fill in the hole of debt if you need it, or your shovel. So yes, it is helpful to have a bigger shovel, obviously. But also, if you don't have the habits, if you don't have the discipline to do something with what's in the shovel, then it's all gonna leave. So
that's right.
Being intentional, regardless of where you are, it's so key. It's so important.
And that's why, when it comes to, one of the classes we have here, Financial Peace University, a lot of times people will say to me, but is it only for people who are getting out of debt? Or is it only for people who, and I'm like, no, it works no matter where you're at in your journey, no matter what your story is. If you're somebody who has kids or doesn't have kids, if you're married, you're not married. It is a program that gives you the information. It meets you where you're at. And some of the information you take for now, some of it you put in your pocket for later.
Yep.
And it's designed for you. You take this course, it's 9 classes, and you will get something out of every single class. And we know that. The reason that we're able to get comments like this of, hey, now I can order double meat at Chipotle without checking the account, right? It's because, Rob Lopez, RC, I can say his name because I actually know him. Rob went through Financial Peace University. He committed himself to the 9 classes. He learned the information. He actually then put it into action.
Did something with
which
that.
is and now he's like millions of other people who have changed their lives simply by taking a class and committing to it.
Yeah, and life's too short, you guys, to be so stressed. You know what I mean? Like and again, everyone's in a different situation, all the things, we understand that, but also that's not an excuse not to do something like this plan. Right. I mean, honestly, it is the thing that will be able to help you understand where your money is, where it should be going, what you should be doing with it, and so that it doesn't stress you out. That's why we say financial peace, because we want that peace for you. Right. We want you to sleep well at night. We want you not to feel so controlled and so stressed over money. And so we've seen people with every debt level, every income level. And again, some people's journeys are longer, shorter than others. The time is different, but it is possible. And that's the exciting thing. And that's what why we do this every day, the show too.
So if you're listening right now, I would encourage you to just dream a little bit and start thinking, what's your I'm living moment? Is it the next time the AC goes out? I don't want to stress. I want to know that I've got $5,000 if I have to replace the AC.
An emergency fund,
Right? Okay. Start dreaming. Start seeing how your life would change if you put on a plan, if you got on, a plan for your money, if you paid off your debt, if you had savings. Start dreaming, because that's when you're going to start having the motivation to actually make these changes. The stronger the why, the stronger the try. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, what's going on? You're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm your host, Jade Warshaw, joined to the right by Rachel Cruz. Guys, give us a call. We would love to take your call, talk about your life, talk about your money. And by the way, I know I probably speak for both of us when I say it's such a privilege that you guys call us to talk about something as personal as your money. You don't even talk, some of y'all not even talking to your spouses about the money, but you're calling us to talk about it. So we do not take that lightly. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. And now we're going to Brian in New York City, New York. What's going on, Brian? How can we help?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for taking my call.
We're doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. So I just got a new role at work with a bit of a pay bump. And we're currently in the New Jersey area, and we're thinking, my wife and I, in about 18 months, moving down to South Carolina, where I'll become the sole provider, just much cheaper cost of living, and I work remote from home. And my wife would be able to be a stay-at-home mother with our 3 kids.
Cool.
And the problem we're into right now is my daughter starts school in September, and so we need a second car. We've been dealing with one car. We just haven't needed a second one. And so we need a second car. We have been saving the past year or so. We have the cash ready to go. But there's a chance we, again, won't need a second car once we move down there because I work from home.
Okay.
But we probably will in a couple years. So I hate the idea of like leasing a car, but we're curious to your thoughts on would it make sense in our situation to lease a car for like 18 months to then not have to travel down with it, and especially if we don't know if we'll need it. But then
No,
also
I
on
mean,
the same
just
token-
sell
why can't you just buy a used car and sell it if you don't want to take it to North Carolina when you go? And I only
we
say
were
that
thinking
because
we would just. Oh, sorry.
I only say that because leasing is the most expensive way to operate a vehicle, not own it, operate it. And you're just throwing so much money down the drain, the way the payments are structured and the way it's set up. It's a horrible, horrible idea. If I were in your shoes, I would buy something in cash. How much do you have saved? I wouldn't buy something expensive. I just buy something that's point A, point B. And when it's time to move to South Carolina.
About $28K or so.
You don't have to spend $28K unless you think you're going to want to keep it and drive it down when you go.
Do you guys have any debt, Brian? Where are you guys at financially?
No, we're debt free outside of the house right now.
Awesome.
So,
How much do you guys make a year?
I'm at 100K now, and my wife is at 92. So we'd be getting down to the 100.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm with Jade. I'm like, I'd go get a used car because someone else has already taken the major hit of it being depreciated. You know, maybe a 4 or 5 year old car. And the used car market still is a little wacky. So honestly, in 18 months, it's probably not going to go that much down in value. So then I would just sell it, and you guys have a great income. And so I would even say, keep it for now, and then sell it, and then when you guys get to South Carolina, kind of see how your life is and see what you have saved. Then maybe get a nicer car, right? If it's a car you're going to be keeping for a while, you guys can afford it. So. Yeah, I would do that. Is it $28,000 above and beyond an emergency fund, or is that all the money you guys have saved?
That's all in what we have in savings right now.
Completely. Okay. So I would partial out, I would honestly partial out, Brian, more like on the 6 month because of this move that's possibly coming. So that may not leave you with as much. So if you have 28,000 saved, how much is like a month's worth of expenses for you guys?
In New Jersey right now, probably about 3,000.
3,000?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Good. So I would keep that as part of that as the emergency fund. Around 18, so that leaves you about 10 to get a car for your wife to take the kids to and from school for 18 months. So it's not going to be a pretty car. It's not going to be one she's like super probably proud of, but that's okay because it's going to get you guys from point A to point B, and you're not going into a contract like a lease.
And you'll be happy to have it. Yeah. When you go from one car to 2 cars, you're just happy to have a second vehicle.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking she'll be like, this is great. We don't have to do that coordination that is required when you have one vehicle, right?
Yeah, definitely. And this will be for me to drive just to drop off the younger kids at my mother-in-law's. But my thought process was that it would roughly cost us, I did the numbers, about $7,000 for the lease. And that would just leave us with more money to put towards the new house.
Well, it leaves you $7,000 with the lease, but then you have you don't have something at the end of the lease.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'd rather put money into something where I have some ownership at the end as opposed to just empty payments. It's like renting. You're just renting a car. 100%. Why do that?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Did we convince you?
Yeah, I think I'm convinced.
Or even take your math, Brian, and do the 7,000, and then you got $7,000. Like you haven't lost much because you'll sell the $7,000 car, and then
there you go.
I don't know, versus $7,000 just being go down the drain a lease, like what Jade's saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, I hope that I don't know that we fully convinced him, but I hope that we did.
They have.
Guys, when it comes to those leases, they're terrible. What they fold into that payment, how they determine what your payment is with the cost of capital and the wear and tear, and what you said is absolutely right. Unless you go through the whole thing and buy it out at the end, you're left with nothing.
Yes.
Terrible.
Car stuff, y'all. It's my least favorite debt, if I can say it. You know what I mean? I'm like, because it's a depreciating asset. I'm like, it's going down in value.
That's
so
right.
Whether it's leasing or it's car payments, mathematically speaking, it is like, it's such a drain. It's such a drain for a car, for something with 4 wheels to get you from point A to point B,
Oh, yeah. And we've had this conversation before in viral proportions. You know how I feel about car payments because they are what keep in a lot of cases, not necessary in our guy Brian. He's just trying to move. But for a lot of people, their car payment is what's keeping them from everything they want. Financially in life. Because their car payment is somewhere between $500 and $700.
And you have two of those.
For just one. For just one. And they're wondering why I can't pay my student loan when it comes due in September. Or you're wondering why I can't put 15% away for retirement. Or you're wondering why I can't seem to pay these bills off. And I'm like, you have probably somewhere from $500 to $1,000 in
to
car payments.
If there's two, yeah. Yep.
That's real money. And you're giving that away just so you can have a 2023 Camry? For a Camry, Rachel, not a Camry.
Giving that future away for the Camry.
Okay.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. And so that's why we're always telling people, man, just either pay off your car early, pay it off as quickly as you can within the debt snowball. And then when you go to purchase a car again, buy it in cash.
Yes. And like what we're saying, I was talking to Ken on this show, and he was looking for used cars for his teenager. And he was like, the amount of car between $5,000 and $10,000, there are so many.
Yeah.
They are so many. And some of them are great cars. And honestly, if you're not a car person, you don't know the year that something's made. Like you Like you don't know. And and maybe it's not to be stereotypical, maybe it's a guy thing. I don't know. I guess some girls love cars, but I'm like, and again, I like a great car.
Me too.
I'm not mad at it. We're not mad at nice cars.
Although, can I tell you a truth?
I'm like, it's just wild to me of what people will pay in car payments.
It's not worth it. And
for a car.
You made such a good point. Most people have no clue. Sam and I finally have two vehicles, but one's a 2012 and one's a 2013, and we bought them in 2018 and in 2023. Yeah. So they were never brand new cars. But when my brother was over at the house this weekend and he saw our newer vehicle and he goes, "Oh, that car is so nice," and I'm thinking to myself, it's a 2013. Like it's so old, but it's well kept.
But it's in good condition.
Look, get it in black. If you get it in black, everything looks much better. If it's an old car, get it in the color black because it's still shiny. It looks better.
Still good.
Don't get red, and definitely don't get like a weird like mustard. Just get black. I'm telling you, that's the way to go.
It's timeless, is what Jade is saying. It's timeless.
No one will know the difference, and you'll have something what is known as money in your pocket. What a life! What a time to be alive. All right, that does it for this hour of the show. Be sure to join us next time, guys. This is where we're getting it done. This is where we're making changes. This is where things happen. So be sure to tune in next time. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we hang out to have a conversation about your life and your money, the things that are concerning you. I'm your host, Jade Warshaw, joined by Rachel Cruz, who's also host of The Rachel Cruz Show and Smart Money Happy Hour, and the list just goes on and on and on. It's really great. But you can give us a call today, and we will give you our input, our advice, what we would do if we were in your shoes. So give us a call. The number is 888-825-5225, and we will take your call. In the meantime, let's go to Michael in Mobile, Alabama. What's going on, Michael?
Good afternoon, ladies. How y'all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So me and my wife have recently started FPU, and we're on baby step number 2. And there's been a lot of excitement, seeing the snowball, rolling down the hill, paying debts off. And the question I have is, when we reach out to friends and family, just telling them, hey, this is what we're doing, and, this is what it's doing in our lives, we get a lot of negativity, and I was just curious, why people are so negative about stuff like this, and then also how can we build a support group, with like-minded people that have shared our journey and can encourage us and us encourage them.
Yeah. Number one, I'm really proud of you guys for taking control of your situation. I mean, you mentioned that you're in Financial Peace University, which is our course for getting control of your money, and you're in baby step 2, paying off this debt. So I'm really proud of you guys. And yeah, a lot of people, when they're in that phase, they are met, with some opposition. It's like you're sharing this journey. You're hoping that you're going to get the support of your family and friends. And sometimes you do, and sometimes you do later on down the line. But, to your point, I think sometimes what happens, Michael, is, at least what I have found, is sometimes when you make the strides to better yourself in any area, it could be health and wellness, it could be financially, spiritually, it has the tendency to become a mirror for other people. And when you're saying, oh, I'm on a budget, I'm making smart choices with my money, yes, it would be great if people said, good for you, I'm proud of you, way to go, way to be a responsible adult. But instead, it kind of holds up that mirror to them, and maybe, not in every case, but maybe they are starting to see, oh, I should do better with my finances, and I should be, and they start to run through this checklist in their mind, and it maybe kind of makes them feel bad or guilty or weird. And sometimes that comes out as a little bit of haterade. You know what I'm saying? It comes out a little bit like, oh, really? Well, good luck with that, and they get a little funky fresh. But I want to encourage you that as you go through this, I bet you'll start to see that change. Because they're going to start to see the fruit that it's having in your life. They're going to start to see those wonderful outcomes from what you're doing. And the smart folks are going to start asking you how you did it.
Yeah. And I think, Michael, too, they're, regardless of what they're saying, which I know this is easier said than done, there's a confidence that you and your wife have to have in each other and in this process, that you just say, okay, we're choosing to make these decisions regardless of what people think or not. We're choosing to do this. And I think Jade made a good point too, that, it can be a mirror for other people, but also, Michael, I've learned when you get healthier in a part of your life, whether it's, you're doing therapy and it's the emotional side, if it's in your money and you're actually making progress there and in control, whether it's wellness and you're actually watching what you're eating and thinking about taking care of your body, like whatever the thing is, or your marriage, and you're like working really hardcore on your marriage, like whatever the season of life that you're getting healthier in, it can start to feel lonely because there are a lot of people that don't do the work on themselves. And it starts to even magnify the other unhealth around you. So when you're on this, you're like, oh, I never would have thought about, people using credit cards or taking out car loans. But now that you're in it and you're trying to get out and you're working so hard, when someone says, I got a car loan, it's going to feel bigger to you. Yeah. And it's probably going to magnify a little bit more to you because of what you're walking through. So that's on more of your side than the other people. But I think regardless of what the other people are saying or doing, you have to, I think finding that community is really key. And this sounds so cheesy because we always say, your Facebook friends aren't your real friends, but there's like the Baby Steps community on Facebook. Like there's people all around the internet, may not be next door to you physically, but there's so much support that I have found with people, whether it's on, Facebook or Instagram, that are part of these groups, or if you're in an FPU class and it's your class that you're talking to, like
even on this show, listening to this show and hearing that there's other people doing what you're doing.
Yes, it's just encouragement. So whether it's community that you find, which would be ideal in person, that it's actual friends maybe walking the journey with you, that's a ideal situation. But even if you don't find that, you can find people all over the place doing this stuff. So I would encourage you guys, because you're not alone in it. So I don't want you to feel isolated either.
Yeah, and stick it out, because sometimes if you let those voices carry too much weight, you can let them shift you off course. And I've seen that happen. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, I've been on the plan for a while, and you kind of get comfortable, and then whoever it is, like, just keeps chatting in your ear about, why it's good to have a credit card for the points. And before you know it, you're like, oh, maybe I should, So just stand strong and like be firm in what you've decided, and just understand that sometimes when people are negative, it probably has nothing to do. It actually has zero to do with you, and way more to do about whatever
is going on in their life. And there's probably, because money too, Michael, as you probably know, creates a lot of insecurity, a lot of fear. Like, it's not a very happy topic for a lot of people, which we hate. That's why we do this show, because we're like, we want to spread hope and help people have the opposite effect when it comes to their money. But as you guys start to gain traction, like Jade said, I think for a lot of people that can be, it can stir up a lot of their own fear and insecurity too.
What do you think, Michael? Does that hit you right?
Yes, ma'am, it did. And the whole reason that me and my wife started FPU was because, my best friend, him and his wife have went through it, and, they paid off all their debts in their house. Mm-hmm. And we got to talking one day, and he's like, I'm going to gift you a free year of Ramsey Plus, FPU. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, I've been wanting to do this for a year. He's like, but hadn't found that right person to give it to. Mm-hmm. He's like, all the people that I know, they're not going to take it serious. And he's like, I want somebody to really use this. And he's like, I feel like you and your wife will.
I love that.
So that's how we got started with it. And I'm really appreciative to him for that.
See, Michael,
we just started a month ago, and the momentum is just incredible.
Yes, love to hear it.
I love that, Michael. And I'm tempted. I'm going to do this. I want Austin to pick up, because, Michael, I want to gift you. I get a gift card because we have like the Live and Give bundle, or we have the ability to get you a gift card for you, Michael, then to pass on what your friend did to you. So I want you to hold on to this. I want you guys to get through FPU from that gift from your friend, and then when you guys finish and graduate, I want you as a couple to find another couple and do that with, and keep that chain moving. George hates a generosity chain at Starbucks, but I'm doing one for FPU right now.
Well, as long as you don't make it creepy and be like, don't break the chain. If you break the chain, something evil's going to happen. As long as you just do it nicely and say, hey, man, pass it on. That's how you do a generosity chain, not in weird, creepy, pseudo-religious ways. Just be nice, pass it on. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 40% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info.
Hey, what's going on, guys? You're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm Jade Warshaw. This is Rachel Cruz. We're taking calls about your life, your financial situation. Although I'll be honest, the word financial, sometimes it feels a little like...
highbrow?
Yeah, yes. Highbrow, Rachel. I like the word money. Money feels like everybody's got it. It's accessible. So if you want to talk about your money, we will talk about it. 888-825-5225. And that's what we do on this show. And while I'm talking about that, I really want to encourage, if you listen to this show regularly, or if you just recently found it and you were like, this show is the business, I want to tell my friends about it, please do that. Tell your friends that you love the show. Share an episode with them. If it's an episode you really loved, that's a great one that you could share. Talk about it on social media, like, subscribe. You could even leave a comment. However, just leave kind comments. Some people like myself and George Camel like to look at the comments. So don't be saying anything crazy because we're real people with real feelings. But anyway, no, say what you feel. It's a free country. We're going to do what we do anyway. But like, subscribe, and share the show. All right, Rachel, I kind of want to talk about something here. And that is this idea of, we call it gazelle intensity.
Yep.
Okay. So if you're listening for the first time, you're probably like, what the heck is that? Explain, please. Now, obviously, you can go and get more information by going to RamseySolutions.com and clicking that Get Started button, because we have all this lingo and terminology around here. And whenever we're talking about baby step 2, which is paying off all your debt, smallest to largest, using the debt snowball. All right. That's a crux of all the things that we do around here. But we talk about this concept of being gazelle intense. And there's more behind that I feel like is necessary to unpack, because the way this plan works, it is contingent on you doing all of the steps and you doing the steps the way that we're teaching it, right? Because part of paying off your debt, we might tell you, hey, pause retirement temporarily so you can get that money back, so you can have more money to pay off this debt quickly. But if you're out here lollygagging around and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna pay off my debt, I'm pausing my retirement, I'm paying off my debt, but a little here and there, and I'm just, you could mess around and this thing could take you a decade.
That's
and
right.
You've paused your retirement for a decade. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is we want you to go as intense as possible. And the way your dad, Dave Ramsey, has always explained it is a cheetah chasing a gazelle, right? In the wilderness, right? Yep. And that gazelle is like, cheetah! And he's running and he's trying to get away from it. And the cheetah is dead, right? The cheetah is trying to eat your butt. And so you've got to get away from that. So that's one of the reasons we say gazelle intensity.
Because there's a scripture in Proverbs that says, if you've signed surety, my son, if you've gotten yourself into debt, basically, so that means do this. And it says, give no sleep to your eyes, no slumber to your eyelids, and deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hands of the hunter.
There you go.
And it's this like powerful imagery of a gazelle running for its life as you watch the cheetah. Yeah. And you kind of think of that Discovery Channel moment.
Yes.
And like, that's the intensity in Proverbs, what it says. And again, whether you believe, in the Bible or not,
that doesn't matter.
Proverbs is just a great book in general, right?
Yeah.
Of wisdom. And it's like, if you want to get out of debt, do this. And it's like, you have to run like your life depends on it. And we say it all the time, Jade, you can wander your way into debt, but you cannot wander your way out. Like, it has to be intense.
Yeah. It's just, there's a scripture, we're talking about scripture. I got to hit one more because this is the way it talks about the thief. It says the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And, I'm like, okay, that sounds like debt to me. Debt, it comes in, it's stealing your income, right? It's destroying your relationships. It's destroying your peace. It's killing your hope. It's a thief, and you've got to get yourself away from that as quickly as possible. So gazelle intensity is that idea of scorched earth, right? We're cutting our budget down to bare bones as much as we can. We're not doing all these extra things, all these extra subscriptions. We're not going out to eat, guys. We're not going on and buying a bunch of clothes. We're just getting what we need. And then in addition to that, we're probably finding ways to increase our income, right? And so the whole point of this is as much money as we can get our hands on to throw at this debt snowball. We don't want to kick this can down the road. We want to move quickly. And so a lot of you might know Sam and I's story, which, we had $460,000 of debt to pay off. And I'll be honest, in the beginning, it's not, Rachel, like we tallied it up and we were like, let's see what we have to pay out. That would have been so depressing. It was like we listed them, but we never like added the total number. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the Lord told us never do that because you'll never make it. But we listed them smallest to largest, and it was like, okay, we're going to be in this for the long haul. And there's something about being gazelle intense that you go to these extremes. And I think sometimes people comment or they call in and there's like this incredulous, like, do I really have to do that? And yeah, you might have to do that. I remember there was a time where our budget was cut down so low. I was spending $60 a week. and I would get the $60, and at the time I would usually just go whatever was on sale, I would buy that at the store.
Oh, it's for $60 for groceries.
Yes, for groceries. Whatever was on sale, I would just buy that and, make it happen. And I remember I had such a detailed list. At one point, my husband and I were in the store, and I look in the cart and I see this package of oatmeal in the cart. I'm like, why is that in there? Like, that's not on the list. We got $60. What's happening? And my husband, we had been in the journey at that point for 4.5, 5 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And he's looking at me. He goes, oh, I put that in there. And I'm like, it's not on the list. He goes, yeah, but it's like $1.99. And I'm like, it's not on the list. And so we're standing there in the car, face to face, laser beams going through between our eyes, having this face off moment over oatmeal. And I finally said to him, I was like, we're so, honestly, I feel myself getting a little bit choked up now, because I'm like, we're so close.
Yep.
Every bit counts. Every bit counts. You have to put it back. And I kid you not, my husband's eyes started tearing up. And I was like, are you going to cry right now? He was like, I'm just so ready to be done with this. And those moments are so real. And people will play you online and act like, oh, your latte every day doesn't count. It's just $1.99. Don't let those Ramsey people tell you that you can't get your latte. Folk, you can't get your latte. You can't get it this time. And that's okay. Make your coffee at home. What is the big deal? We're big boys and big girls, and we can make these sacrifices, and we can do them for a limited time only and change our life for the rest of our life. It's so worth it. If you're on the fence and you're like, man, it's not worth it, live for it today. I'm like, no, it is worth it. It is so worth it to pursue something greater, because it's not going to just affect you. It's going to affect the people around you. The guy that called earlier, and some people say, well, I don't have kids. It doesn't matter. It affects the people around you.
Yep.
When people see you doing something countercultural that's making your life better, they have questions, and they're going, oh, wait. We can do this. People can actually be debt free.
Yep.
People can actually have savings. People can actually be millionaires in their 30s and in their 40s. What are you saying? Yes, but it requires sacrifice.
Yes.
Gazelle intensity is what it requires. Short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain.
So good, Jade. It's so good. And I think, too, the point that you said, limited time, because that's it too. We're not these crazy people asking you to live like this and not get $2 oatmeal for the rest of your life. We're not saying that. But for a period of time, the deeper you sacrifice, the deeper you sacrifice, and the more consistent you are in it, the faster you're going to get out, which means the faster you get back to your life.
That's right.
And do what you want to do. But it takes that level of it. And we hear these calls every day, and people stand on our debt-free stage here in the lobby with sharing their stories. And you guys, it's possible.
And what's the average time?
It's amazing.
What's the average time? Because I'm over here 7.5 years.
Yeah.
That's not normal. Please understand.
18 to 24 months is what we're finding on average. But if you have to go 7 years, you're living proof that you're still here.
I'm still standing,
dressed
still strong.
To the nines for Friday, and life is okay. So it's impressive. Yeah,
life is good.
Applaud to you and Sam, for sure. It's an incredible journey you guys walked.
You guys can do it too. We're not special. We're not superhuman. We're just normal folks following a plan, and you can do it too. I don't care who you are, your background, what you make, what you don't make, or the color of your skin. You can do this. This is The Ramsey Show. What's going on? You're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm Jade Warshaw, your host. This is Rachel Cruz to my right, and we're taking calls all afternoon long. We got a couple segments left, so give us a call, 888-825-5225. In the meantime, let's go to Keisha May in New York City, New York. What's going on, Keisha?
Oh, my God. I can't believe it. Oh, hi.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Hi, guys. How are you? I'm hanging in there. You? Thank you so much for taking my call.
Of course. How can we help?
So I had a two-part question, but you kind of nailed it with the baby step one for the second question. But my first question is, I'm in kind of a dilemma. I am a registered nurse in the emergency department. We are on baby step 2. We currently make, I make $105K and my husband makes $45K. I will be transitioning to a new position, nurse practitioner position, but I have to decide between the two.
Okay.
And one of them pays $147K and the other one pays $130K.
Okay.
But I'm looking to work at a 4-day week. So the one that pays more is offering the 4-day week. The one that pays less is a 5-day week. But the commute is not as bad as the one that pays more.
Okay.
So, and then my other part of that
How much more commute? Sorry. How big is the commute? What's the difference?
So the 130K commute is about 50-minute drive, and the 147 is an hour and 20-minute drive.
Okay, so 30 minutes more. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And they're both non-unionized. I'm currently in a union position now that if I stick with it, I can be vested in the pension by May of next year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my question was, do I choose the one with the higher amount because we're on baby step 2, in addition to keeping the very highly stressful job that I have now? If I work part-time, I get to keep my pension and my medical benefits, working every Sunday for a year and a half.
Uh-huh.
Or do I pick the one with the lesser commute, taking the slight pay cut as the NP, while still keeping my emergency room job? Or do I just hey, I'm young, I can just save up the money for the pension and just, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't let a pension be the thing that sways this decision for me. So, I mean, an hour difference in commute, basically, if it's 30 minutes one way, 30 minutes the other. I mean, an hour that's
significant.
That's a significant time, and because you have kids, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, I have 2 kids, yeah.
Yeah, so that's significant to me.
That almost adds up to the full workday. If you really think about it, an hour for, it's half a workday. It's 4 hours a week, which is half of a normal workday. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, with the emergency room job that you could keep with the 130 job, the $130,000, and with that emergency job, the emergency room job, what is that? What are the benefits there again? Did you say health insurance?
So I get to keep my health insurance, which is excellent, and then I get to continue to stay on my way to be fully vested into the pension.
Oh, okay, with the other one, okay.
But it would be a 5-day a week, which is kind of a lot.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
It would be 5 days, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, in addition to the Sunday emergency room job.
Is there any flexibility a year from now where they would take you down hours?
No.
No.
Unfortunately not.
Okay. And how much do you guys have left in your debt?
So we still have $120,000 left in debt, and 107 is student loans.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, this is tough. I agree with Rachel. The pension wouldn't be the thing that decides it for me. Because of your debt, and I'm sorry, I wanted to clarify one other thing. Did you say your husband makes $45K or $145?
He makes $45K.
45,
and
okay.
I make $105.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is just me. I honestly think that there's not a wrong choice here. I don't think there's a wrong choice. I think there's what serves your situation best. Either way, you're working 6 days. If you do the other one and you're working 6 days a week, that's a lot, but you're also, you're working the baby steps. So there's a season where there is a lot of work. If you do the 4-day a week one, you're losing a little bit of time in the commute, but all things considered, I think you're going to end up having more time for more money. I think the way I'm looking at it, unless I'm missing something, Rachel. So I feel like I would go with the higher paying job and the the less amount of days, even though there's a slightly longer commute.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get you where you want to go quicker. And the thing is, there's always a sacrifice. There's always a rub. So here the sacrifice is 30 minutes more in the morning, 30 minutes more in the afternoon. But I think you're going to be feeling better if whatever day you have off, Friday, you're going to be
day.
like, yes, I have all day.
Yes. And you're getting paid $17,000 more doing that.
Yeah. So that's what makes sense to me. I don't know that let me be clear. The other choice is not wrong, or it's not bad. I just think that the first option is the better choice, in my opinion. What do you think?
Thank you. I think I was leaning more towards that, but
yeah,
I was definitely, because I was like, I wanted to be gazelle intense. And like I said, my part 2 question was, I was one of the people that were fooled about the student loan thing, about the forgiveness. And I'm like, oh, yay, you're going to get forgiven, especially, being, a nurse during the pandemic. I was like, yes. And then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, crap.
Yeah, totally.
Now I got to go pay these bad boys. Well, I love that you're thinking ahead. And
you guys
honestly,
are making great money, too. So just know that. Like this 147 is going to be so helpful in paying off this debt. And if you guys continue just to keep sacrificing, and what Jade was saying in the segment before, living that lifestyle bare bones, you're going to be able to get out of this so much faster. And then you look up in 3 years, 2.5 years, and it's like, okay, what do I want to do with my life? If there's no bills to be paid, no debt to be paid, then maybe you take even a lesser paying job closer to home 3 days a week to be home more if you want, right? So all the options continue to flow in.
Such a good point, Rachel.
You have that. So
it changes the way you work.
That's good, Jade. I'm with you. I think option 1. I always hate a longer commute.
I know.
But for $17,000 and one less day.
Yeah. That's worth it. Yeah. Yes. I agree. I really do think so. And by the way, Keisha made a very good point. The student loans are coming back, and she is doing the proactive thing, which I think many people need to be doing right now, which is looking at your current situation and asking yourself, does anything need to change? Do I need to be looking for different work? Do I need to be looking for side hustles? Do I need to be finding ways to shift my lifestyle so that I can, and get this, not only pay the minimum payment, but pay it off, okay? And I can't say this enough. I'm probably going to beat this drum a lot, and James, our producer, is probably going to be like, hey, stop talking about it. But right now, when these loans come back, guys, all of these service providers are going to try to convince you to do an income-based repayment plan. They're going to say, oh, it's going to be tough for you to make this payment. Do a lower payment. And some of these payment plans that they're proposing are 5% of your discretionary income. That's nothing.
Yep.
And
what, may not even cover the interest.
That doesn't, thank you, Rachel. It barely even covers the interest. And so what happens is, and you see it all the time, people complain and they go, wait a second, I've been making these payments, but somehow my bill keeps going up. Somehow the balance keeps going up. This thing is rigged. This thing is jacked. And I'm like, no, you're on an income-based plan. And if you're not attacking at least all of the interest and getting some towards the principal, it will never go down. And I don't say that to be hopeless. I say that to say, you pay as much as you can pay, not as little as you can pay. And if you want more information about that, go check out our documentary, Borrowed Future. That's where we're really uncovering what's going on with these student loans. And guys, don't wait. Start being proactive. Look at this stuff now. See what your payment's going to be. Look at your budget. See if you have the money. And don't bury your head in the sand. When it comes to your money, ignorance is not bliss, it's broke. Do not bury your head in the sand on this. We're here to help you if you need the help. This is The Ramsey Show. All right, you're listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm your host, Jade Warshaw. This is Rachel Cruz. And as always, we're taking your calls. We enjoy sitting here talking to you guys about your situation, your life, your money. And the scripture and quote of the day is up next. It says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out. That's Proverbs 10:9. And then Kenny Loggins said this, Come on, Austin, with the Kenny Loggins. The more honest you can be, the less you have to hide. When I have nothing to hide, I have everything to give.
That was good.
That's a good one, right?
That is a good one.
I feel that one's got like a couples sharing their money vibe
to it.
Right? Look, I'm always going to put that out there. And by the way, just want to kind of let you guys know a little bit of information. We have a really great newsletter here available to you guys, anybody who's listening. It's our Ramsey Solutions newsletter, and it's filled with all these great tips. It's wonderful. It says work from home jobs have exploded the past few years, and Americans' enthusiasm for remote work is still going strong. Cool. So if you're ready for a new opportunity outside of the office, working from home could be a good option for you. So this week, we're breaking down the 15 best work from home options. Simply sign up at ramseysolutions.com/newsletter to subscribe, or our Sunday newsletter, and learn how to make remote work your reality. Wow, that was a mouthful. Yeah, I love this because I think that there's so many moms who want more time staying at home and would love to figure out how they can do some work from home whilst kind of have an eye on their kids, or like do like that partial daycare day. And sometimes work from home is a great opportunity for that.
Have some flexibility too.
Yeah, man. Check out the newsletter. We're always dropping little nuggets of wisdom like that for you. All right. This is Diane from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What's going on, Diane?
Hi, Jade. Hi, Rachel. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Hey.
So I am trying to figure out what to do here. Without even realizing it, it looks like I'm on baby step 2.
Okay.
So I have about a total of $21,600 in debt. $16,000 of that is a home equity line of credit. So between my car and some credit cards, they come out to about $5,400. I have right around $15,000 in my savings right now. So what I'm wondering is whether to take out the $5,400, pay off everything except the home equity, throw everything else at the home equity, which I'm figuring would probably take me about just under 3 years to get it paid off, unless I do a good purge through my house and I have some things that I could sell.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out. Really don't have a retirement plan. My house is pretty much my retirement plan.
What's your home worth
at the moment? $400,000 to $425,000.
How much do you owe on it?
Well, that's the thing. I don't pay. It's going to be paid off in 2025. It's being paid off by my ex-husband. So I do not have a mortgage.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
And it'll be paid off in almost like a year and a half.
In 2025. Yeah, there's only about $35,000
Wow.
on it.
That's great.
That's great.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. What's your income each month?
Let's see. I gross about $45,700 right now. I have a raise coming up this month and another raise that will come up in January. So puts me at a gross of, I figure after this month when I get the raise, I should gross about, no, not gross, but actually net about $2,800 a month.
$2,800 a month? Okay.
Yeah.
So your situation, I would walk it through the baby steps just like any other situation. So I think you've got the right idea, which is you're taking this $15K that you have saved and you are dispersing that. You're keeping $1,000 out just for that, starter emergency fund, and you're throwing the rest at your debt to tackle that as quickly as possible. And then I do think, like you said, Diane, go through your home and sell the things that you can sell, because gazelle intensity, we want to go quickly and pay this debt off as fast as possible.
How much money, Diane, real quick, do you think you could get? Like, what are the things around your house that you see that you're like, I could probably get some? Are we talking like $300 or like $3,000?
Right.
Oh, probably close to $10,000 maybe.
That's wonderful.
Wow, Diane. Yeah, totally.
I tried to start a business, and I actually have a laser machine, which if I sell that and some of the supplies that I have, I should be able.
Yes, there you go.
Well, all of that. I mean, let's just pretend you can get that with this 15. Then you're going to be for sure done with the 21,000. Oh yeah, Diana, that's the gold right there. Because we talk about in order to pay off debt, sacrificing lifestyle, upping income, and selling stuff are your three best avenues. And most people, they just kind of have crap around their house and they can sell it on Facebook Marketplace and get some cash, which is great. But if you have if you have equipment like what you're talking about to bring some cash in, I mean, I would do that today.
Because you'll have money left over.
Today.
If you sell that for $10,000 and you've got the
4,000 left over.
You'll have some left over to get that jump start back to the 3 to 6 months saved up.
Yep.
I like it.
So you're going to take that $15,000 you have saved. You're going to keep $1,000 of it. And for your
that's a problem there too, because my daughter's getting married in a couple of months, and I still have a little bit of obligation.
What are your obligations?
Well, I have to pay a balance on the hotel for going down. She's getting married out of state. So I have, and her shower, which I've already committed to.
But
so
that's not $4,000 though.
No. It's not $4,000. It's about.
Because you should let me walk through this.
How much is it? $1,200.
$1,200.
Let's get to the point. I'm hoping. And when is the wedding?
October.
You should be able to cash flow this, I think, because if you sell the laser machine, we said, you've got the $15K plus the $10K from the sale of the laser machine. That clears your debt plus gives you $4,000 extra. So you've got this cushion here. And then you've got your normal cash flow. So let's start setting money aside now, because we're paying off this debt without even touching your normal cash flow, right? So let's start setting aside money now to start paying for the hotel room. Is there anything, and make a list of anything else you think you might have to pay for and put the amount next to it. And let's start setting aside sinking funds and getting this money aside for the wedding. What you think?
Okay.
Does that feel right?
The only problem is with the laser, it's not going to be like a overnight sell. That's the only, I'm worried about how long that could take.
Maybe a month, right? I mean, if you go and put it up, post it places, look into the industry that people need that type of machine. And, that's going to send, I hate to put all the eggs in the laser machine basket, but it will help propel you forward. So I want you to be motivated to sell it, for what it's worth, obviously, but to at least market it and let people know that you have this, because that's fantastic. But what Jade's saying is right, that, once you pay this off though, what's amazing, Diane, is that $2,800 that you have coming in is not going to be going back out to payments anymore. You're keeping that to go and do what you need to in your life. And that'll be building up that emergency fund. And then that's going to be really focused on retirement. And I know your home, you said, is that, and that's what's tough about, when we talk about funding retirement in your home, is we always say we don't want you to go and just pay off your home, because some people want to go and do that and not fund retirement. So we don't want you stuck with a paid for house, but no cash.
That's right.
And so in your case though, Diane, obviously this is such a gift that you have this home and it'll be paid off soon. But I want you to start, sitting down even with the SmartVestor Pro and walking through what retirement looks like, because you may still have to work, for a few years and not retire, at 65. You may be working just to get yourself in a good place, that if you decide to downsize your home and still own property, which is ideal, you can take the equity of some of that, put in retirement. So you have some puzzle pieces here in the future, Diane, but it's not a hopeless situation. Not a hopeless situation. You have a lot of options, which is great.
I love it. All right, guys, that does it for today's show. And remember, guys, when it comes to your life and your money, you can make changes. You can tell me that you won't do it, but never tell me that you can't. All things are possible with Christ Jesus. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jade. Look, if you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.